Alright, so we're going to just go over the slide and the flip and the turn, so what that looks like, and then we want you to share it.
Okay, if this is my block, so I turned it like this, and then can I flip it up?
Yeah. A flip is over on symmetry. So, yeah, so if you start with this shape, then this could be a flip, but it would be like right here. You see, because it's over the line of symmetry. And again, if you start with this shape, this would be a turn. One point, and then you can turn it around. And the same with all these. So, does anyone have any more questions about what a flat slide, and flip, and a turn is? Or do you all get it now?
Did you make that?
No, it's not me. That's pretty cool. Okay. So, were you able to identify what your partner did?
At one point, I took her thing and put it on her strip just to like do it myself to make sure that I was right.
That's a good idea.
Okay, so assessment for this activity. Students should be informally assessed throughout this activity to make sure they understand each transformation and are able to draw them correctly. They should be formally assessed after handing in their sentence strips by checking to see if the labels on the strip are correct. And it's important to assess the student's ability to both create the transformations and identify the transformations. So it's like a two-way deal.
So now we have another activity to see if it works. So what do you think it is?
Oh.
Turn.
Flip it.
Yay!
Slide. Electric slide.
Yeah, so this is just maybe an extension, or you can have the kids do this.
This is a fun game.
Try it with the wrong response and see what happens.
Flip.
Try again. Yeah.
It's not like.
So it doesn't have sound.
Was there sound? I thought there was sound.
Yeah, I think there might be.
It's not working.
I hear it from the.
But yeah, this is a fun little thing to do with kids, to get them involved so they can come up here and click the right answer. There it is, yeah.
No, if you do it wrong.
Oh, and if you do it wrong.
Slide.
Yeah, I guess this is. Okay, and then there's another game that like really involves the kids, and it's called Leader Says, and it's very similar to Simon Says, but the kids all stand up, and the leader, which could be the teacher or another student if they've done this a few times, will say flip, slide, or turn, and they all have to actually do it with their bodies, and they have to move around. Which,
Well,
yeah, so flip could. Flip is like almost the same thing as a 180-degree turn.
Yeah.
So they could just like turn around like completely like this. We saw like a video with these little young kids who were doing this, and they were actually like tumbling, like flipping.
Oh, that's
Like,
but there's
so
only
they can
like
get
5
really
of them,
into it.
so I guess if you do it in a small group, maybe.
And you have enough
Probably
space,
wouldn't.
yeah, you can do it.
Might be a little risky.
And this would also help with compass directions. If you're doing like east, west, north, south, something like that, you could say turn east. Or even if you're doing angles, like turn 90 degrees east, something like that. If you would have the compass directions up on the front of the room, that would help. And then the smartboard can also be used. Have the students come up here and actually flip, turn, and slide the different shapes. So they would actually have to drag the shape to slide it. You know, it had the little green dot comes up top, and then you could turn it. And then to flip it, they could just like draw it flipped, like draw a line. And then if you want to bring art into this, you could do a tessellation art project, which is all one pattern and you just keep sliding it. Then you could also do art projects where they have the pattern and they're flipping it, they have the pattern and they're turning it. So they can just repeat the same thing and make it like into a nice art project.
Yeah, like I remember in, I think 3rd grade, I think we were learning about this. And I remember drawing my name and then flipping my name. Do you guys I don't know if you ever remember doing that. Yeah, so that's something else you could do too.
Symmetry.
Yeah. And this is our guided math connection. We actually found a math stretch in one of the books that we had to buy for this class. And this one was in the 3rd through 5th book, but we think that this activity could be used for 2nd grade also. So what they do is they get a sticky note, either yellow, blue, or pink, and depending on which color they get, they have to draw a shape and then flip the shape, or turn the shape, or slide the shape, and then they put their sticky note up on the board, and then they get into a math huddle and they discuss the answers and see if there's any incorrect or something. So that really, they're really going over it together and assessing, because like if one kid doesn't get it, or they all don't see it or something, then you can really go into that. And we think that this would go really well with whole class instruction, because again, it's this kind of abstract for them, so they really have to work with things, manipulatives or something, or using their body to do it. So that's why we said learning at its best is a social process that works really well for it. And then also differentiation in teaching this topic, using different tools and materials so that all children can learn. So that again is using the different materials such as the pattern blocks, such as their bodies, using art or something like that.
So bring it all together, why flip, slides, and turns. And this topic introduces symmetry and angles to students. And of course the early understanding of this topic will help students later on with more complicated geometry problems, like in high school and everything. And then understanding flip, slides, and turns is an important building block, like I just said. So they need to learn this before they can move on to more complicated things. It's just resources.
Julia Diggins.